you've been, let's separate your work as well. I think your work as a commercial photographer is one thing. Your artistic work is something else. We've been to Bali together, and you kind of were taking a few photos as part of a series, which was maybe a little bit controversial, especially in this part of the world. But that kind of work was, and we'll get to why it was controversial in a second, but that kind of work is something that a lot of the photographers and creators tend to kind of forget about when they see some success in the commercial side. And with you kind of, very well established photographer, a lot of success commercially, and then slowly started migrating into the artistic world. You've always had that sort of like, artist avenue in a sense. First question is, which one gives you the most reward? Like when it comes from, from a creative perspective? And with your recent photo series, what was the main message behind it?
Yeah. So reward change, like the way I feel reward changes over time. And when I was first starting as a commercial photographer, the reward was getting the job. It wasn't how much I was getting paid, but it was closing the deal.
Yeah.
Closing the deal on a job, that gave me so much, satisfaction. And before being a photographer, I was an engineer. I sold chemicals, so I'm like sort of this salesman at heart.
Yeah.
Where I remember explaining it in a very shitty way, but like that's really how I feel. It's like I'm very satisfied where when I'm able to make a deal where there's money moving from your pocket to my pocket.
Yeah.
It's a shitty way to explain it.
Sure.
But like it's satisfying to think that, hey, I'm able to do that. I have the skills to do that.
And it's a sign to provide value as well, right?
Exactly.
That means you're giving value for people.
Exactly, yeah. So when I was a commercial photographer, well, I still am, but like at some point that was like the rush. Like, how do I close this deal?
Yeah.
And then once it sort of became automated, the process just started to become automated. I've become quite known in the space. Like, this is what I charge.
Yeah.
It just kind of became automated. So I'm like, okay, cool, that's nice. And then I started to sort of dive into the artistic side of things with a message, right? I moved away from trying to experiment with light and technique about like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And started to experiment more with like, how do I make you feel something?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do I make you feel something? And how do I say something about an issue in society that I disagree with?
Mm-hmm.
And so that, there's been multiple series, Rock Your Ugly magazine cover, Mawjood, like all these series, they all have like something that I either disagree with or, I want to say something with. That last series, We Breathe, talks about how we use human bodies in commercials as just, it's less about the human body, but more about the person.
The person in themselves,
how we treat the people that we hire as cast, as models, almost on set and after production. Like, they don't get any say in what the image looks like, how it's being used.
Mm-hmm.
It's all these little things that I kind of disagreed with while I was, in my commercial photographer journey.
Sure.
A lot of clients on set just said really nasty things to cast and models. And I'm just like, what did you just say?
Yeah.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
No,
It's true. And sometimes we even kind of, when we're filming something, for example, we don't even take their opinion around how they look on screen. At the end of the day, I guess we look at it from the perspective that this is the client's piece. It's a client's, campaign or commercial or work. While the person in the photo, the person that is giving you the content, has the last say in terms of what looks good and what they're comfortable with as well. Tell us a little bit more about the actual series. I mean, the reason why I said it was controversial is because you are photographing naked bodies.
Yeah,
in a sense, right? So this is what the series is. These photos were taken outside of the country. They were taken in New York. They were taken in Bali. They were taken in where's in Thailand? I think there's different areas. And the cool thing about them is they do come to life when you kind of scan them through your phone on a specific app. Then they start animating and moving, which is a really cool effect. People were able to buy these collection of series online through NFTs.
Exactly, through NFTs.
Cool.
I do prints as well, but it's NFT first.
Nice. Yeah. And the main message behind that, as we said, was about that disagreement, giving a voice to the voiceless, perhaps, on set. How did that translate to the public? Was there any interesting interactions that you've had with those pieces?
Yeah, I think generally, as when you first see the still image, because that's usually what people see, when it's displayed, in a space, they usually see a still image, and to describe it, it's yes, it is naked bodies, but there's no head, and there's no genitals showing.
Yeah.
Even so I've edited everything out.
Yeah.
So technically, as a still image, it looks like a mannequin.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah,
So people are always like looking,
is this a human?
Is this
a mannequin?
Is this real? Is this a mannequin? Because they look like mannequins. There's no head.
Yeah.
There's no genitals. There's nothing. There's actually no nudity.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So they stand and stare at it. I'm like, where? And a lot of people ask, like, did they come like that?
Okay.
Or did you get them custom made or something?
Interesting.
Those are the questions. And then I pull up the app.
Yeah.
And they look at it through their phone, and that mannequin comes to life and it starts moving.
Yeah.
And they're like, what, how did you? I don't understand. Explain this to me. Yeah, actually, it's a human body. It's a person.
Yeah.
But we edit out the head and the genitals to make it look like a mannequin for you to think that it's a mannequin, and then it moves. So it's called We Breathe. Right?
Yeah.
As in, hey, we are people. We breathe. We have souls. We have opinions. So these mannequins are moving.
Yeah.
Because the idea is we're using those people, the models, the cast as mannequins instead of as people.